Hey everybody, I'm back today doing some watercolor stuff, although I'm not using watercolors today. I wanted to show y'all some of the different varieties of things I've been working with lately. Some pigments. Pigment is color. There's different types of pigment, and I'm going to real quick show you what I have in front of me just so you'll know what I'm going to be working with. It is at the moment sunny outside, and the way I have my camera set up, it's going out the back door, and I know you probably can't see the mountains from here, but let me see what I can do. I really want y'all to get a view of what I see. Let me try this real quick. Let me swing my light out of the way first, and then I'm going to show y'all outside if this works. Well, it's on the tripod, and I don't know if you can see the mountains way out there, but this is where I live, in the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee, and that's out my back window on my basement. So let me just set this back down, make sure I'm getting the feet of this tripod back where they need to be, and we're gonna continue on. I gotta get my light back on. I love my basement, but I like the outside better. So I like to be over here where I can see it. I have my watercolor table set up here where my tripod is right now. And this area and this direction is where all my watercolor stuff is. I showed that to y'all in a previous video. I have a little old chest here that I had when I was a child. It is now serving as my mixing station, I guess. I've been having a lot of fun lately making pigments into different colors so that I can use them in my watercolors. Well, my crafting, I'm going to say that. For example, this is my little Midori notebook, and this is a journaling page. As I mixed up this particular color the other day, I had to clean up my tray here that I mixed on, and this is what was the excess. It covered 2 pages, and it would have just been wiped up and thrown away. But I'm putting it in putting it to good use. I'll probably do more on these pages, but this is called Pearl X, and that's what I want to show y'all today, is my Pearl X things here. There are other things too that you can use. The world of mica pigment is new to me, and I had not ever used mica and Pearl X in any way, shape, or form. I had always just used plain watercolor until I happened to pick up, see if I can find that, the Lucas brand gold. I got quite a bit of it, and I have a full pan, I have a half pan, and then I have the tube of it so that I can refill when I want to. And I love having that gold, and I used it almost exclusively in the previous pages in the book, my little journal notebook. And just watercolor first and splattered. I'll show you how to do that in a different video. But I really loved and fell in love with the gold and the way it looked on my pages, which is falling out right there. But anyway, I thought, well, what about silver? Because I have gold now. So how about silver or pearl? Hey, wait, I heard about Pearl X. I thought, well, let me go check that out. And so that's what I did. I watched videos first, which of course, you know us, we always watch videos to try to learn about things. And that was the first color I got. I bought this micro Pearl X, and very quickly I was back on the internet and picked up 5 more colors. So I have 6 of the Pearl X colors now. I got to tell you, this was a joy to work with. And yet the pots of Pearl X, this happens to be the size 0.75 ounces. and the ones I have here. I don't know how quickly I'm going to go through them, but then I found a video that showed that you can use cheap Dollar Tree makeup. This one is LA Colors. It is a mica based eyeshadow, and it came with a little brush that you dip in the pot, I guess, of powder. I'm going to link y'all up to a lady who showed how to use this. I'll link that particular YouTube video to the bottom there so you can see what I saw. I was off and running. I mean, literally, I was like, I'm heading to the Dollar Tree as soon as I could, and I picked up 5 colors. The 5 that they had at my Dollar Tree are these here. Now, I have not emptied the purple one out because I only bought 1, and I have been buying 2 of the others. When I get the second one of it, I will put it in its little pot as well. And then I started mixing. And when you make things for watercolor out of pigment, one of the things that I saw to use was something that I already had on hand, gum arabic. And I already had it, a full bottle of it at the time, and you can see I've been busy. So I've bought more of it as well, and I've been having a blast. Then I saw, and by the way, the makeup ones are in these little things right here. Those are not Pearlex. These are the eyeshadows from the Dollar Tree in this group. Well, I know y'all been looking at this right here and thinking, well, what on earth then is that? No, it's not Pearlex, it's not mica. What this is rock. Ground up, powdered rock from here in my area. Now, if y'all watched the previous videos where my daughter-in-law was here, she and my son went hiking on the Appalachian Trail, which is the mountains you saw right across the way there. They picked up a handful of rocks for me, and when they brought them home, I got this color out of one of them and this color over here out of another one. But before they went hiking, I went in my own backyard, which, by the way, I live on a mountain, and my front yard's down the hill, my backyard is up the hill. So I went in my backyard up the hill, and I found some stone that I pulverized inside an old cereal box. In fact, this still has some fluff in it that shouldn't be there. Anyway, and then I took it and ground it down inside a mortar and pestle and made a very fine powder, like is in the bottom of this little tray. I made a very fine powder out of it, and then with gum arabic I came up with these. So I'll show you that process in a different video. Okay, so for now I'm going to remove the natural pigments out to the side here, and we'll discuss those and do that in another video. But today I just wanted to talk about this little tray now of pigments, and these are the ones that have mica base powders in it. Mica is a shimmery powder. When you use mica in makeup, and I'll just show you real quick because everybody knows, if you put on eyeshadow, you want the eyeshadow not only to have some color but to have some glint, right? And so that's what the mica does, is it makes it glint. Now, when I went to the Dollar Tree to try to find cheap versions of Pearlex, is basically what I was doing. The cheap versions here, although they were $1 a piece, this was also $1. So I thought, you know, just get 2 of everything. And when I tried this particular one, this one's called Color Mates. The colors were gorgeous. I was all thrilled to pieces to try this. This brand did not make a very pretty paint when I actually tested it after mixing it and letting it dry. When I when I tried to paint with it, it was very grainy. It was very muddy and sad looking. Like, I don't want to see it on my artwork. So I would say don't buy those. Don't waste your money on it for this purpose. As eyeshadow, I'm taking these upstairs, and yeah, I'll be wearing these. So maybe the twice a month I actually put on makeup. We'll see. In the meantime, here's what I did. This is also on that video that I'm going to link below. And unfortunately, I'm so new to her channel, I can't remember off the top of her head what her name is or anything. But she has a huge base of subscribers. And I'm like, well, I guess she doesn't do anything much with lace, or else I would have already seen it. She used something to pry the bottom off of this, and basically just stuck something sharp down in the thing. And I can do it, but I don't want to do it right now because I'm not being very safe. But you do just basically stick it down in there, and this whole bottom piece of plastic pops up. So you take it off, and I have been putting it in these little clear things I got off of Amazon. They are perfect for this stuff. A little pot. So I'll link that down below too, because I got like 4 dozen. What did I get? No, I got 4 half dozens. That's what I got. So I got 2 dozen. And they are now going to be a big part of my crafting, because I'm really loving this, and I know everywhere I go I'm going to be looking for cheap eyeshadow with mica in it. Again, the ones I got from the Dollar Tree, they're LA Colors Shimmering Loose Eyeshadow. And I'm going to put this up closer to the camera and hope it will show. This particular one is Honeysuckle. And Honeysuckle is this one. There's a white one. It is called Snow White. There is a gold one. It's called Sunshine. And then there is this one, which I'm in love with. It is called Radiant, R-A-D-I-A-N-T. Love this. What I did, just blended a few of them together after I made the first one just plain. All this is gum arabic and loose powder mixed together. I'll show you that in a minute. But when I blended these two together, this one was Honeysuckle and Radiant, I got this color, and that was in the pages of my journal that I first showed you when I said I had to clean it up, and instead of just throwing it out, I used it on the page. That's what I got when I blended these two together. Isn't that beautiful? So what I want to do is just basically show you what I've been doing. So I'm going to shove these all to the side. I did do the purple one too, but it's not a color I'm going to use much, I can tell. I don't think I'm going to like that as much. Let me start first though with showing you these. In one of my previous watercolor videos, I showed you how to do a palette. And my little small palettes here of watercolors. And what I did was I looked at every video at the time. I did these about 2.5 years ago. I looked at a bunch of videos to see how to do this particular idea. And I didn't have anything on hand that I could use to put paint in. And people were coming up with using what's the name of that clay? The clay that you bake. I can't think of it. So of course I had to buy some of that and try that. I made things with that, and I enjoyed playing with it. It was a lot of fun. Look what I made. I made brush rests so that my brushes won't be laying on a table. They'll be up in the air to dry. So I made some of those. Sculpey, that's the name of it. This one was white Sculpey clay. I baked it in the oven in this shape and it came out perfect. I use that all the time. I have another one that's larger. It's back behind the camera so I can't really get to it. But I did other things with Sculpey as well. Maybe I should just do a video of Sculpey stuff for my watercolors. I made these little tiny pans or whatever you want to call it just to mix in. They turned out pretty cool. Then there's some other stuff I did too. But I did not have the knack of putting inside of one of my mint tins a method of getting it correct. I tried a number of times. I baked it in the pan even and did all kinds of stuff. But all of a sudden one day the idea hit. I'm diabetic and I don't use a pre-filled insulin method to deliver my insulin. I fill it myself using little needles here, little syringes. And every time I do, I have to take a lid off of my syringe on this end and then the needle cap. So I always just throw away the needle cap on the syringe. Never are these separated unless I'm giving myself a shot or filling up the syringe. But this part I always just threw in the trash until the day it hit me. These I can put watercolor in. And so that's what I did. That's what these are. And so that's what we're going to use today. And this one's still good, so I'm going to set it aside. So that's what I've used, is the top of syringes to make these. And because the top of the level of the top here of the tin needed to be a little bit smaller than what's here, I just took an old pair of scissors, which I put away. There they are. Utility scissors. And I have cut the very top of this rim off of this little plastic cap. And yes, they fly everywhere. But I just cut the top of that off and get rid of it. And it makes the perfect travel watercolor thing for me. And I travel with my watercolors in the truck with me. I don't like being without them very often because I never know how long I'm going to be sitting in a parking lot waiting for my husband to finish an appointment or sometimes go shopping. He likes to get on the motorized thing and go to Walmart if he can get one of those. But it takes a while. And so if I'm by myself in the truck, I watch videos. I sometimes paint, draw, just do kind of whatever. Sorry, those flew everywhere. And so I just use those. There's also the, I make them even shorter by cutting more plastic off for these small little tins. I cut them way down and only leave about a 1/4 inch, I think is what I use to do the smaller pans. And those fit nicely in here. In fact, I don't think these are even quite this short. I did these for a different one, actually. Sorry about that. But these are even more cut down because obviously that would be too tall. So I just keep cutting them until they get the right size. So if you have a friend who is diabetic and uses syringes, or you have a nurse friend who uses it, ask them to save those caps for you if you're interested in this method at all. That eyeshadow, it was still on my hand. I'm going to show you some Pearl X and how beautiful the Pearl X brand really is. Compared to the eyeshadow though, I'm not going to be able to tell you if it's any better or worse because I haven't been able to use it as much to figure it out. But for the buck, I could live with those. So basically, all I do, I have 2 ingredients, the pigment and the gum arabic. I just use a little palette knife. I have turned an enamel tray. It's a very old one. I probably picked it up at a garage sale. And when I was hunting for something to do this on, I found this and thought, oh, I'm just going to turn it over and use it, the bottom of it, because it's flat. I can come up this direction to mix and blend, and it just seems to work pretty good. So that's what I'm going to use. And I think I'm going to start with gold today and just show you kind of how to mix it. There are lots of videos out right now, I noticed, especially on Instagram, of somebody doing a very close up of them mixing paint together, 2 different colors, 3 or 4 or 5 different colors of paints, and I was mesmerized. I love watching that process. And after I started doing the Pearl-Ex and stuff, it was like I get to do it myself. Can y'all imagine my excitement? So, and I know I'm silly that way, but to me it's very enjoyable and relaxing. I'm not going to make a whole bunch. I'll just make enough to show you kind of what I was doing. I'm going to start with about that much. And because this pigment, once it's mixed, because it's wet, it needs to dry to be in this form. You'll not want to cover it up. You'll want to leave it out so that it can dry out, or else some people have mentioned that it gets kind of yucky. So that's why these are still all sitting out. Just want them totally dry and no problems. I use the gum arabic just a little at a time. And this one, I get a lot of my art stuff from Cheap Joe's. In fact, I should be getting some more stuff tomorrow. Yay! I used Cheap Joe's a whole lot and half for years. That was the first place I ever bought anything from, actually. And that was in Texas, and now I just live across the border. They're right over there across the mountains. So, I may need to go down to North Carolina and see if I can meet Joe. Go to the shop, see what they have. But I just use, this is to trim paper out of a, you know, it's like gummed on 3 sides. This is used to just break apart the gum on those sides. Or sometimes 4 sides with a little bitty opening. That's what this is. And that's all I'm going to use. I just want a few drips of the gum arabic, and I want to control it. And so this is kind of how I've been doing it. You don't have to do that. This is just my way. And gum arabic is water soluble, and therefore you can clean it up very easily. Instead, I'm going to, for time's sake, I'm just going to pour it a few drops on here. And then I'm going to start blending a little bit and see kind of how far that went. I don't want this chunky. I want it nice and smooth. So I'm going to add a few more drops and blend some more. And again, I'm using the gold Pearl-Ex. This is called Brilliant Gold. And once I get the gold mixed up nicely, I'm thinking about maybe adding a few more, another powder color to it, and see just what colors I can get out of the Pearl-Ex. I've blended a few of them together, and I'm really loving the gorgeous array of colors I can get using it, and that's exciting. And frankly, for this video, this is really about all I'm going to show you. It's just how easy it is to blend this. Use a little palette knife, a little gum arabic, and the powder. And then once you scrape it all up, you can save it in these little containers. This one I want to go ahead and add a little bit more color to. I want to try, I happen to have a rust red over here. And I'm going to pick up a little bit, just a little bit of powder in here because it's pretty dark and I don't want it to overpower, oh there it is, the gold, but I do want it to enhance the gold, you know what I mean? So I'm going to take about that much and see how I get. what kind of color I can get from that. I'm going to add just a few more drops of my gum arabic. Some people also add water, and like I said, it is water soluble. Oh look, isn't that gorgeous? I feel like I need to pick up the camera and bring it over here and show y'all what this is doing. If I run out of time and it ends up I go to a second video for real quick, I'll show it to you much closer up. How about? I'll try to get it all in here real quick and show you the color. I'm just blending it back and forth. And this is a prepared pigment. You can buy pigments in forms that you still have to work with, but here's the color we got. This is almost like a bronze. I'm going to bring it up here and see if y'all can see that. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm really excited about this. I'm going to mix this a little more. I'm going to stick it in one of my little caps here. And then I'm going to have a whole new color just because I blended two colors together. Don't forget, if you're going to try this, I don't know for sure if this is non-toxic. I believe it is. It says it's non-tarnishing. I'm reading that right now. But I'm in a big, large room, and there's lots of air flowing in here right now. I don't know if this has any toxic effects or not, but do keep that in mind when you're working with anything. So be careful. Just be careful. I hope y'all have enjoyed seeing what I've been playing with lately, because really this is like a toy to me, getting to do this. And I hope y'all have enjoyed it. And if you haven't tried it in your crafting, give it a shot, or your journaling even. Give it a shot with the Dollar Tree makeup. It's inexpensive and fun to do. Thanks for watching. I'll be doing the earth ones out of the stone next. So stay tuned. Thanks a bunch. Bye-bye.